Hi friends, I'm Amy and this is A-Star Reads, and I'm starting another HRCYED vlog because I have just over a month to finish 5 books. 5 books for HRCYED. While I'm also trying to do TBR Trek, and yeah, it's going to be a month. It's going to be a month. Especially because the next book I'm reading is Aragon by Christopher Paolini, which is over 700 pages because this is for my By the Hundreds prompt, which is to read a book over 700 pages. And I think this is going to be a quick read despite the fact that it's so long because it's mass market paperback and because I recently tried the first part of this. And if you want to see where I did all these ratings for the first section of some of my fantasy books, I will link that video up here. I felt like the first section that I read was reading pretty quickly. So my hopes are that this will be a quick read and that as I get through this one quickly, then I can move on to the next few books that I have to read because yeah, a month's gonna come and go really, really quickly. And I've been so busy lately that I haven't had a lot of time for reading. So fingers crossed I make this a priority this weekend, especially because this weekend I'm taking it a little easy. I still have a lot of things I want to do around the house, but I don't have any big plans for the weekend, thank goodness. I just needed a bit of a break. I needed a bit of break from going places and doing things. Mom and I played a little bit of Magic tonight because we're practicing. We're playing our kind of low-level standard decks. So we did that tonight. It was a lot of fun. It's a great learning opportunity for both of us to just stretch our brain and see what we can remember about how to use these cards and stuff. But it is getting late, so I'm ready to go to bed, relax, lay down, and start this and read for maybe 5 or 10 minutes before I actually fall asleep. But I'm gonna get a start on this tonight, and then hopefully I'll get some more time to read it tomorrow and Sunday. I almost forgot to mention, HRCYED 2.0 was created by Stephanie from the channel QWERTY. I will link all the information for our channel down in the description box below. HRCYED 2.0 is almost over. However, HRCYED 3.0 has already been announced, and I'm gonna link the announcement video down in the description box below so you can check it out and see if you want to participate in this next year. I think that I will participate, but in a very modified way, which is the way that Stephanie is trying to make this next year's version so that you can do it standard or you can do it in different ways to modify your experience and to make it more doable for some of us who have a hard time sticking with it because we hit slumps in March, it seems, and April, and that's when we stop doing well at HRCYED. So I'm excited to take a different approach with it next year and still be able to incorporate it, but not have to worry about spending so much of my reading catering to HRCYED specifically. Because it's a lot, and for the people who are able to do it, I'm so impressed because this is my second attempt and I've had to modify it so that I can actually finish something. Okay, so aside from when we're actually out and about shopping and enjoying the outdoors, enjoying a wonderful lunch, I have been editing my part 1 for my series, my cleaning off my shelf series. Mom and I took a break though to put out the mulch we just bought mulch, and plant one of my rhododendrons that has been sitting in a pot for over a year now. So it finally has a home. We just tried to cover all the cardboard that we have down so that it'll kill off the weeds around, the weeds and the grass around the roadies. So here's our little roadie garden. I know, the rest of the grass needs to be mowed and weed whacked, but it's not. So there's our beautiful flowering one. That one right there. We have this little one that hasn't been doing so well lately. Then we got this weirdly spread out one. And this is the one I just planted. I need to take off the tag. But this is what it'll eventually look like once it starts blooming. It's gonna be pretty. Tapped it where the book like was clearly aware of itself. Okay, I'm reading Aragon, and I'm even watching a like dark academia, dark fantasy. There it is. Look at that. Ambiance video. But I need a bit of a break. Isaac, stop. He's being annoying. I need a bit of a break. So I'm going, because it's getting late, I'm trying to wait for my video to finish rendering. And so I'm going to take a break by reading Volume 1 of Rat Queens. This is called Sass and Sorcery. And for TBR Trek, I need to read a book that has 3 S's in the title. So S-A-S-S and S. This one actually has 4. And if you include the name of the series, it has 5. So I'm going to read this if this little dude lets me. But he's just being very needy right now. What's your problem, dude? Okay, I haven't updated this in a while, but it is no longer 22 books that I have read this year. It is now 33. Okay, so I finished Rat Queens Volume 1, Sass and Sorcery, and this was a lot of fun. It took me a little time to get into, but I find that sometimes is true about graphic novels because it's such a different style of reading, and I have to get back into that mode. So it took me a little time, but ultimately it was a lot of fun. I really liked the characters, and they certainly grow on you as it goes along. It is definitely a very raunchy, gory graphic novel. But there is a lot of heart behind the relationship with these characters towards each other and the different relationships they're making with other people within the town. It's so irreverent at times and like crass, but then at other times you're like, oh, that's so sweet. So I enjoyed it, and it was very gory. So just know that going into this, there's a lot of battle scenes, and the art is showing everything that happens in those battle scenes. So if that's something that you don't like, then you probably will have a harder time with this. So this was a 4-star read for me, and this will be a great series to continue on when I'm looking for something easy and quick. Oh, and it feels very D&D in a lot of ways. These Rat Queens are characters basically go on quests, these different quests. They're an adventuring team. And in this one, I don't want to say they've lost their quest adventuring pace, but the Rat Queens, as well as some of the other adventuring teams that live in this town, Palisade, have kind of caused a lot of problems for the actual villagers, and they are spending too much time fighting and partying and not enough time adventuring, and so that becomes one of the core issues in this book. So that's where we're at, but I do look forward to finding out what happens next and what kind of adventures these girls get into. It's the first time going back to the gym in months, and everything hurts. I'm dying. My core especially is just, I have abs. I have them. They're there. They exist. This is what happens when you take too long away. Okay, so I've got to get ready to go to work, but before I do that, I wanted to give you a bit of an update as to where my reading is. I am making a little bit of progress on Aragon. I'm on page 81, not quite 100 pages. This is 752 pages, but I did make progress. I'm getting into it. At the beginning, we're meeting Aragon, who ends up, because of an event that happens, finding this sapphire rock thing. And at first he wants to sell it, make some money to help his family out. But all of a sudden, this rock is no longer a rock. And it hatches, and out comes a baby dragon. And I hope that's not too spoiler, but I think that's what this whole series is about. We've got this little dragon that he's bonding with and trying to understand. And dragon riders are not a common thing anymore. They were common in the past. People who rode dragons, or elves that rode dragons or something. But he's thinking now that he's bonding with his dragon, maybe he'll become a dragon rider, which gives him a lot of status. That would be a really good thing for him because they're not wealthy people. I really like the character Aragon. I like him a lot. He is just this sweet, naive young boy of 15 years old. He's soon to be 16, which I guess adulthood in this world is around 16. So just following his journey and his curiosity and his wholesomeness at this point is really refreshing and really lovely. And so I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going to go with this story. At this point, it's this big deal that he's bonded with this dragon, except nobody knows yet because he's been able to keep it secret. But dragons get giant to the point where he won't be able to hide this dragon for long. So he's going to have to tell people about this dragon. His uncle, who takes care of him, seems like he's a little, I don't want to say money grubby. He's not money grubby, but he seems a little desperate at times. So I'm hoping he doesn't sell out his nephew and the dragon, but I don't quite know yet. Based on the little bit that I got to know his uncle in here, they're not well off. And it seems like he would take advantage of opportunities for them to have more money to live off of. I could be wrong though, and I hope I'm wrong. Also, before I went to bed last night, I started The Experimento by Maria Murillo, and this is a book that I have to read for HRCYED. It actually fulfills 2 prompts. So this one's within the 700s. This is my by the 700 page book. And the Experimento works for around the world because it's set in Venezuela, so South America, but it also works for my February new release because it was released in February. It's this romance about this woman who is living her life after college. She's a journalist. She's an influencer in the relationship world. And she's been doing this job for 5 years, waiting for her boyfriend to finish his medical degree. And she has had plans for their life this whole time. Like, she has set specific plans for their life. She knows when they're going to get married. She knows where they're going to live. She knows all these details that she has set for their life. And after his graduation, he starts to reflect on where he wants to go with his life. I think he starts to see that she has been planning all these things and he hasn't really had, or at least he says he hasn't had much of a say. And he wants to see what his life is going to be like if he lives it on his own terms, is what he's told her. And so he takes a break. She's insistent that they're not broken up because this is the man she wants to marry. She's absolutely in love with him. So because of events that happen, her job is put in jeopardy. She has to try and prove herself with her work by coming up with a plan to fix a relationship with her boyfriend. Otherwise, she loses all credibility as a relationship advice columnist. And so she comes up with this experiment, the experimento, which is that she will do a certain number of steps to try to get her boyfriend back. It's the experiment of how to get her boyfriend back. I know that there is this musical celebrity that comes into the story at some point. We haven't seen his perspective yet, but I'm sure we'll get there. I think I'm about 20% of the way into this book so far, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the writing. There's a few phrases that she uses a lot. Like when she gets nervous, her mouth dries up. Her mouth has dried up a lot of times during this book. And the other one was that she wipes her sweaty hands on her clothes a lot. So she's got cotton mouth all the time and she's constantly wiping her sweaty hands on her clothing. But those are the only 2 things where I'm like, this author needs to find different ways of expressing her stress. Unless those are the 2 ways that she feels stress, cotton mouth and sweaty hands. But aside from that, I love that it's set in Venezuela because it's a slightly different setting, something that I don't see very often in romance novels. And so far, the main character isn't annoying me too much. I hope that I continue to like her through this book. I could see how some people might feel she's really annoying because she's very steadfast in what she thinks is right in her life and how she believes it to be. But I think that through this story, we're going to find out that she is maybe holding on to stuff that she needs to not hold on to, or not allowing there to be freedom for spontaneity and stuff in her life. So we'll see. I'm not somebody who's very spontaneous, but I'm also not someone who plans my life out like that. Maybe I did in the past, but I don't anymore. I like to plan things, but I don't like to plan my life because you never know where it's going to take you. And she very much is like, down to the details what her life is supposed to look like. And that would be frustrating if you were with somebody like that, I think. So we'll see what happens with her. And maybe she's just with the wrong guy who can't understand how her brain works. Or maybe she needs to loosen up a bit. I have no clue. We'll find out at some point. But so far I'm enjoying it.
Okay, so it's been a long week, and I have been go, go, go all week long. I've used every ounce of energy, both mentally, emotionally, and physically this week. It's been quite a doozy. And then this weekend we were busy because we had already, as a family, planned to go help my uncle with packing because he sold his house. His wife died, several months ago now? Was it longer than that? I can't time. What is time? I don't know. It feels like it was only months ago, but I think it's been longer than that. But it's been tough, and he sold his house, and he's getting ready to move into his fifth wheel. So he's been needing a lot of help to go through that house and just to get through stuff. So we made this big family plan to go this weekend and help him as much as we possibly can. So after a long, exhausting week, I'm also exhausted from doing that. But I'm glad we did it. It was a big accomplishment. We haven't finished, but we got a lot done, so that felt really good. So I wanted to tell you about the Experimento by Maria Murillo because I did finish this one, which works for 2 prompts, and I had to get it done this weekend. I had to get it done yesterday because it was due at the library and somebody else wanted it. So I was like, yep, got to get it done. So when we finally got home yesterday, I spent a lot of time reading it last night, and I got it finished, and I'm really happy I did. I enjoyed this. This was the author's debut novel. I'm going to give it 3.75 stars, and as a romance, that feels quite appropriate in general. I feel like there were a lot of things I would have liked from it, a lot of things actually, and yet there was a lot that I enjoyed, which makes it maybe a 3.75. Very, very, very closed door. Like, there were a few kissing scenes, and that was it. So there wasn't anything spicy, and there wasn't even a lot of, like, spicy scenes that don't lead up to sex, but, like, are still a lot of fun. It was a lot more about the building of the romance. And that's a choice that I don't mind, but I do appreciate a little more sexual tension than there was. I like the tension when it comes to romances, and there wasn't a ton of that. So that was lacking. Well, the Experimento is all about this woman whose boyfriend breaks up with her, and she's enlisting the help of this singer to get her boyfriend back. And if she gets her boyfriend back, she will also get her job back because she's made an agreement with her boss that if she's able to rectify the situation, and the situation ended up being very public. The breakup was very public and it affected her job. If she's able to rectify this situation, then she will be promoted into the position that she actually wants to get in. In the meantime, she loses her job. But of course, as you can imagine, as is true anytime you try to bring someone on to help you find romance and it's a guy that is very attractive, most likely our main character is going to fall for that guy. So it was predictable in that sense. But the experiment itself and some of the aspects that were important about their jobs, I feel like they were only touched on and they could have been delved into a lot deeper. And so it felt like there were certain scenarios and certain aspects of this story where if we'd gone a little more in depth, it might have been more interesting. Or if you're not going to go that much into depth, then lean on the spiciness a little bit more. But there was just something missing from this for me. That was that. I liked the characters, though. I liked both the characters, so they were enjoyable to read from. And I think some people will definitely like this. If you like books that have very little spice and are more about the building the romance, I think you'll enjoy this. And if you're just looking for something fun to read, a fun romance, and if you like a bit of a different setting, this is set in Caracas, Venezuela. And of course, it does share a little bit more of a different culture, which is also really nice. And so those aspects made it unique, and I did enjoy it for those aspects. I would read from this author. Again, I'm hoping that as she writes more, I'll get a bit more of a sense of what to expect overall from this writer. Is she always going to be a closed-door, wholesome writer, or is that just what she wanted from this book? What are her characters going to look like in the future? What are her settings going to look like in the future? Like, I liked aspects of this, and I could see enjoying more, but we'll just have to see what else comes from this author. So now that I've finished the Experimento, I want to update my board. So here's my board. And I'm hoping that Around the World will turn green because I think that was the last one I had left for this. So first, let's do that because that's the first one on my list for this. So for South America, I'm using the Experimento by Maria Murillo. And I'm going to click I did it because I finished all of the continents, including the bonus continent. Click, and let's see if that actually worked.
I did! Yay! Let me zoom out now that I'm here. Okay, so in this line, all I have to do is finish my new releases. And then here I've got to finish my 600 pages book. I'm currently working on Aragon. I think I'm on like page 86, though. I have a lot to go for that one because it's over 700 pages. And then the award season, what do I have to finish for the award season? Oh, that's The Great Circle, which is my 600 page book too. So whew, I got a lot of reading still left to do. And I've got 2 books to read for my new releases. So yeah, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more books left. And it is June 14th. Yikes. Okay, well, I'm just gonna do the best that I can. And then, so this is my February new release, and so I can at least update that. February was, yeah, the Experimento. Okay, so that means I only have March and April left. And I still haven't figured out what I want to read for April, but I'm going to read When I Was Death for March. And this one's a very short book, so hopefully this one won't take too long. And then the 2 books I have for April, this one's a little bit bigger, but it's no, I'm reading this for something else. So this one I gotta hold on to. I've got to read Mad Mabel by Sally Hepworth for my April new release. So I'm excited about this one. This will be good. Okay. So that's it for now. I took a break from Aragon because I needed to get the Experimento done before it went back to the library. And now I'm going to focus all my time on Aragon because I really actually needed to get it done by next Saturday, since next Saturday is the TBR Trek deadline and I'm using it for the TBR Trek prompt. I have to get that one done. It's my longest book and I can do it. It reads easily. I should be able to do this, but I'm hoping this next 2 weeks are actually calmer because we don't have any kids at work for the next 2 weeks. We're in between. We're preparing everything for the summer program. And I'm hoping it's kind of like a bit of a break. I need a break. It's not even the kids I need a break from. It's the adults, to be honest. But when the kids aren't going to be there, I have less to stress about when it comes to managing the adults. So, or at least I think so. We'll see. It would be nice to just kind of get prepared for summer program without having too much stress, and then I hope summer program's gonna be fun. I just want to have fun. I want to have fun this summer. We have so many field trips planned. I know it will be fun. So today, Mom and I went and had a wonderful day. We got our nails done. It's getting to be summertime and I wanted sort of a watery vibe. And then while we were there, because I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do for my nails when I went, Jordan was like, why don't you do this? Because I'm going sailing on Tuesday, which I'm very excited about. And so she's like, get a sailboat. So I got sailboats on my thumbs, and then she's like, have it attached to that little black bit right there. That is the string or cord that attaches it to my little lifesaver. And then over here is a little shark that you better watch out, because whoever's getting saved needs to keep an eye out for that shark. So then I got the blue cat eye to go for the water. And they're just fun and playful, very summery. So that's what I went for this time. So after we got our nails done, we went to Village Books, our favorite bookstore, because they're reopening Paper Dreams, which is like attached to the bookstore, and they sell stationery there. They sell a whole bunch of fun stuff. So we wanted to go check it out. But also, Mom and I wanted to get our summer reads, because Bonnie Barton, who is a lifestyle / cozy influencer, she shares slice of life, and she's a bit of a designer, like a house designer. She says that every summer she goes and picks out a couple of books that are going to be her summer reads. And Mom and I really wanted to do this and pick out books we knew nothing about, or like were really cover buys that gave us the summer vibes, that made us excited about reading in the summer. And so we're like, this is something we're going to do. We're going to set up our little summer TBR, and we decided on 2 books each. Now I picked up another book, a third book that I do know about, because I'm really interested in reading this book. And I think it's going to be a great summer read. Well, first I'll start with the one that I already knew about previously, and that I picked up just because everybody else has been reading it, and I really want to read it because I think it sounds fun and interesting and strange. And that is Yesteryear by Carol Clairburg. And this one, I do love the cover of this. I think it's a really cool book. But also, this is about a trad wife influencer, and the reality of her life today, being this traditional wife, but actually having the support of like her nannies and the producers of her social media account, and the perception she puts across as being this traditional wife. But then all of a sudden she wakes up in 1855, her husband is a farmer, and she actually does have to do everything from scratch. And she has to make do with the fact that they don't have technology to help them along, well, modern day technology. I thought this sounded like a really interesting concept, you know, taking someone who really feels that there's something and basing their life on that thing, and then actually putting them in the real situation where they do have to actually be that thing. And I think that's going to make for a very amusing story. So I'm really excited to get to this one. I think this is going to be a really great summer read for me as well. And I like books that have a lot of social commentary, and I have a feeling this is going to give me that social commentary that I'm interested in and that I want to read about. Okay, now for the 2 books that I have not actually heard about and I don't know anything about, but I thought that they gave me summery vibes and books that I feel like I will enjoy reading this summer. First, I picked up The Someday Garden by Ashley Poston. And this kind of reminds me of Secret Garden a little bit, the way that it's described. So I haven't read anything by Ashley Poston yet, but I do want to read The 7-Year Slip, The Dead Romantics. I've heard great things about A Novel Love Story and the Geekerella series. So there's a lot by this author that I do want to read. The Someday Garden is about this woman who moves to Maine, coastal Maine, for the summer, and she's going to help revitalize the grounds of Lilymore House. And I think she's going to be doing the gardening of the grounds. And she's not expecting to fall in love with this place, but as she's there, I think she's falling in love with the location, the place, the people that work there. And then all of a sudden a door appears, which makes me feel like this is very Secret Garden-esque. And it leads her to a secret unfinished garden with a frustrated thundercloud of a man trapped inside. So that sounds really good to me. And it sounds like this one is going to have a great setting. And I think for the summertime, especially, a book with a fantastic setting like this is going to be one that I'm going to really enjoy. So I'm excited about this one. And I love the colors of this. This is a fun, summery color book. Oh, and it's been signed by Ashley Poston. So that's pretty cool. So that's the first one I got. That was a cover buy. And then the other one I picked up was truly a cover buy because I've never heard of this book at all, or this author. I think this is actually a debut book for this author. And it kind of matches my nails a little bit. My nails work with this book quite well. So this is The Jellyfish Problem by Tessa Yang. And this sounds interesting because it incorporates science, which I do love books, especially fiction books that incorporate a bit of science into them. And we've got Dr. Jo Ness. I'm guessing she's a marine biologist because it says she prefers jellyfish to people. There's one one person who she absolutely loves, who she can stand his company, and he ends up dying like 7 months prior to this book, and she's devastated about that. There's one other person who she gets a call from, who she does love, and she hasn't talked to her for a while, but her name is Nadia, and Nadia is telling her about this giant jellyfish that is terrorizing her tiny island off the coast of Maine. Oh, this is set off Maine too. So these are both set in Maine. That's kind of perfect, actually, because we've been dreaming, Mom and I have been dreaming about Maine and taking a trip to Maine. So maybe this is trying to hint at something. She sees the footage of this giant jellyfish and she's like, this kind of seems weird, but I'm going to go try and help my friend. But when she arrives at this place, her friend Nadia is nowhere to be found. And it says something about this jellyfish that says, the creature they've dubbed Clementine, a jellyfish who changes all who see her. But this one's a little bit like Bright Remarkable Creatures. Is that what it was called? The one with the amazing octopus, Maurice, I think was his name. And I really loved that book. So I'm hoping this will be kind of similar to that, where it'll give me the oceany vibes, and since she's a scientist, I'm hoping it'll give me those sciencey vibes, but also the heart of a fiction where people are coming together and trying to figure things out and recovering from grief, obviously. I think this one sounds really, really good, and I'm very excited to read it. I wasn't really good at refraining. I spent a lot of money today, but I did refrain from getting Whistler. This one by Ann Patchett was there, and I have been really interested in reading this one. I do like Ann Patchett's writing. I feel like of the books I've read from her, one was a 5-star, absolutely loved it, and the other was, it just didn't hit right. You know, I feel like with her books, if you love the characters, then the book is going to be for you. If you don't love the characters, then it's going to be a good book, but it's not going to be for you as much. But this one sounds really good, and I was so tempted, but I didn't get it. I refrained. Then, of course, we went over into the Paper Dreams area and we're looking at all the fun little goodies they have, because they always have tons of fun goodies. And one of the things I saw that was super cute was this little sloth that is supposed to be a screen cleaner. Like, you use it to like wipe your screen, like wipe my phone screen, because it always gets dirty. In my new car, I have a big console that is like my backup camera. It's the radio console, it's all that stuff. And it's this big screen and it gets very dusty. And so I'm gonna have this in my car so I can dust off that screen. It's really lovely and just cute, really, come on. I also picked up this fanny pack because I've been loving fanny packs. I grew up in the 80s when fanny packs were all the rage. And I recently got one for our cruise last year, and it's wonderful. I love it. I do use it still, but it's small. It can't carry that much. So it's perfect for when you don't need to carry that much on you, like you don't need to carry your keys or anything, just like some chapstick or this or that or your card or what have you. It's perfect for that. But I needed something a little bit bigger that I could carry, you know, like instead of my purse, I could carry more in it. And this one is a decent size, and it's cute because it's got all these mushrooms on it. It's very cute. And it's got a zipper on the back so you could hide your like cash or something there that goes against your body. And it had a long enough thing to go around my waist, because sometimes that is an issue. And there it is, my cute little fanny pack. I love it. It's so cute. I'm going to use it when I'm going to different things where I don't want to have to carry my purse. I really like to bring fanny packs when I go dancing, because I hate having things in my hands when I'm dancing. And I just love it. I think it's so cute. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to use it this summer. This is my summer fanny pack. And then we decided to go to the Juneteenth event downtown. They had this big event where they had different Black-owned businesses there, and there are all these different organizations there that were trying to support diversity and to show what different resources are available to the different people within our community who are Black, and how important it is to come together as a community on a day like this. So we loved it. It was wonderful. They had musicians playing. It was really fun. We got some food. We got some plants, because there was a plant seller there that was selling a whole bunch of great plants for pretty inexpensive prices. We got some puff puff, which were these little, I think, Nigerian sweet puff things that were really, really good. And one of the other ladies was selling these exfoliating bath towels or bath thingies. And I really like the color of this. And my cousin said they're really good for your skin. I've got this. I'll definitely cut it up smaller because it's a pretty big piece. But yeah, this is to be used in the shower when you're cleaning and exfoliating. And I can tell already that it's going to be pretty good for my skin because I get really dry skin and I should be exfoliating a lot more than I do. And then across the street from the fair, there is an antique mall that is unfortunately going out of business. And I've never been there before. I've always said, I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. They got quite a few people going in there today, especially because there was an event going on across the street. So I got a summer mug, my little pelican mug, which I think is so cute. It's just adorable. It's very simple, but Mom and I have been trying to get some seasonal mugs, and I think this is the perfect summer mug for me, and I love it. I just think it's so freaking cute. So there's my little pelican mug. And then I picked up this orca hat because it's summertime. I need summer gear. So, you know, I've got my summer books, my summer mug, I've got my summer fanny pack, I've got a new summer wash rag, I've got my new car, my summer car. I'm going to call it my summer car now. So I've got this little dude to clean it. And now I've got a summer hat. And it's got this really cute orca. I think it's hilarious, actually. It's so cute. Jordan got a little sticker that's the same thing. I really liked the hat because I do wear hats a lot in the summertime because I like to go out in the sun and be outside. But I prefer to wear a hat. I don't like flat brims. I like curved brims, so I'm gonna curve this brim a little bit. I think I'll probably wear this when I go sailing on Tuesday. Oh yeah, that is too cute. There's my new summer hat. I can't wait to bring this guy out, especially on the field trips that I go on with the kids. I think they'll think it's cute. And yeah, I'm a big fan. Look how cute that is. I was debating because it wasn't cheap, but I'm worth it. And I had to prepare for the summer. So that's my haul. That's all the things I got. Mom is going to share with you the books that she got because she also got some summertime books. I'm excited about hers too. I'm probably going to read hers as well. So we've got a pretty full summer TBR going. I'm hoping to prioritize at least these two that I definitely bought because of the summertime vibes. And yeah, I just couldn't help myself. I am so intrigued by this one. So that one seems like a perfect summer read as well. Okay, let me go grab Mom.
Hi, I'm so excited about Amy and I deciding to go find 2 books that are for our summer reading. The first book I saw when I walked in there was, this is called Bumblebee Season by Eileen Garvin. And I saw the bumblebees and I thought of summer. This was an immediate pick. And then when I read what the story was about, this is about a beekeeper in the state of Oregon. Something happens and there's a chance that there's going to be some environmental problems with keeping the bees. And that sounded really fun to read. So, I mean, environmental problems are not fun to read, but this sounded fun to read because he's going to try to beat whoever's trying to stop the bee season. And then the second book that I've already started reading is called Dolly All the Time by Annabelle Monahan. The front cover was definitely a buy. I used to sail. This guy's pulling up a sail. She's in a sailboat. I love sailing, but I no longer have a sailboat. We used to go sailing every summer. I lived near San Francisco and we had our boat down there near the San Francisco Bay. So we would sail every weekend. It was so much fun. And then we were only going to get 2 books, 2 summer books, but I saw this. This is a nonfiction. It's called I Eat the Stars by Sarah Wilson. And the front, when I first saw it, I said, oh, that looks really summery. And I didn't realize it was on the nonfiction bookshelf, but I went and picked it up and was looking at it. And it's about how to live fully and beautifully in a collapsing world. And it talks about the crises and piles up like AI takeover, climate carnage, intensified conflicts, techno-fascist rule, and authoritarian.
Now I don't even know how to say it.
There's a lot of vowels there.
Authoritarianism.
Authoritarianism. You should see. Look at all those.
Oh, no, I cannot.
Amy can't say it. Look at that word.
Authoritarian. I know this word. Authoritarianism. Authoritarianism.
I don't know what that means, but this sounds like a good book for me to read right now.
So she feels a little less angst.
And it does, it does actually give me a summer vibe. So I'm going to try to get rid of my angst with all the things that are happening in the world. I'm pretty happy, but I thought I better read this. I'm excited. So those were my 3 books. I didn't do any other buys like the girls did. Like Amy got this cute little thing, but I didn't need that. I just needed my books. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, so I have had to take a break from HRCYED. I was reading Aragon, and to be honest, this last week or so, I could not bring myself to pick it up much because I just wasn't in the mood for reading. I'd rather watch the K-drama that Mom and I were watching or do other things. I was finding myself having a hard time sitting down and reading. So that was the case. And then this weekend rolls around and I have to get to my Bookstar read-alongs book because we're having either sprints or a live show next weekend. But if it's a live show, I need to be ready for that. And we're reading Beartown by Frederick Bachman. So this has to get read. It doesn't work for HRCYED at all, but I have to read it. And I'd like to get it done by next Saturday. So because we have a nice 4-day weekend going on right now, this is Saturday so far. We had Friday off because of Juneteenth, and then today we are enjoying resting and relaxing and recouping. And we did go out and do quite a bit today, including we took Cece for a walk, and I didn't get any footage of that because I forgot my phone at home. But it's the same trail we've been taking lately that I showed you already. And I started this last night. So I am reading Beartown. I'm currently on page 114. And I'm enjoying myself so far. Is it the book that I would prefer to read right now? Probably not. And then that doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it. That just means it's a little more hard-hitting than I'm kind of in the mood for at the moment. But I'm still getting into it. And I'm enjoying his writing. Of course, I love his writing. Sometimes it takes me a little time to get into Frederick Bachman's writing. But then once I'm into it, I'm really into it. And he knows how to pack emotion into his books and to hit you where it really hurts. And there's so much tension and buildup for this. You can tell stuff is going to go down soon. So Beartown is this failing little small town in the woods, in the mountains. And the town struggles because there's not a lot of commerce there. There's not a lot of people who can offer jobs, or there's not a lot of opportunities there. The thing they have going for them is that they love and live for hockey. And they have a hockey team that they're desperately hoping will bring them out of this slump. And that if their hockey team can prove to be one of the best hockey teams, then maybe it will bring a hockey high school and then maybe a mall. Stuff will be able to build up because of the reputation they'll have for being such a good hockey location. That is the goal. That is the hope. And a lot is riding on a game that is about to come up for the junior league. These aren't even the adult leagues. This is like such a minor league thing. People's livelihoods are on the line. There are jobs that are going to be lost or gained depending on what the results are of this game. And of course, the kids that are actually playing in the game have a lot of pressure being put on them by the whole community. There's so much weight on the heads of the people who are involved with this hockey team. And then, of course, there's also so much weight on the shoulders of the people within the community who are expecting so much from the results of this hockey game that you can just feel the tension and the buildup. And we know something terrible happens in this book right from the get-go because the first chapter is crazy. I don't want to read it to you because it's probably fun to read it on your own. So I'm going to go like this so you can't see it. But that's the short first chapter. And it definitely has you going, oh, okay. That's quite a way to start a book. So I am looking forward to finding out what happens now that we're almost at the semifinal game. And I know that this is the day that a lot of horrible stuff happens. So we're going to see what happens and what that means for everyone in this story, because you're already getting to know a lot of these characters and feeling sympathetic towards certain characters, trying to understand their personalities more. There's a lot of characters actually involved in this story, so we have a lot of people to follow, but I'm not finding myself having a hard time following them at all. So yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I'm going to be reading as much of this as I possibly can before I get back to my HRCYED books. But once I do get back to my HRCYED books, I think I'm going to do my new releases because I have 2 new releases left to read, and they're shorter than Aragon. And if I can finish my new releases, I can at least get 1 bingo. And I know it's not the 2 bingos I was hoping I would complete, but it'd be nice to complete something. So if I could complete those 2 books by July 6th, then at least I'd get 1 bingo, and that's something. That's an accomplishment. Okay, so I'm about a third of the way through. That looks like more than a third. I'm where that first bit is. So I'm
a little more than a third of the way through Beartown. And one thing I can say about Frederick Bachman's writing, this seems to be true for the books that I've read by Frederick Bachman so far, which is not very many yet, but I definitely want to read more from this author. And that is, at the very beginning of his books, it takes me a little time to get into his writing. His writing and his characters feel a little cold to me. So it almost feels like, am I going to like any of these characters? Am I going to stand for the story? Am I going to enjoy this at all? At the beginning. And this was true for A Man Called Uwe. This was true for other things I've read by Frederick Bachman. But once I hit that point, there's a point where it turns. Everything flips for me. And what felt like cold characters and sort of, I don't want to say there's distance between his writing and myself, but there's just something about it that doesn't feel warm and welcoming. There's a switch, and all of a sudden it feels like everything. You feel the emotions, kind of like I was complaining about Enormous Wings, how I don't feel the emotions with the characters and in the writing in that particular book. It's the opposite for Frederick Bachman. You feel so many emotions and you're pulled into it, and it's so heavy, but also wonderful and bittersweet and awful. And like, there's so many different emotions because there's so many nuances to all the characters you get to know. And I love that. And that's something I kind of have to remind myself every time I read Frederick Bachman, that at first I'm going to be like, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not feeling great. I don't know that I love the characters. Yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden it flips and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so good. And his ability to make characters so much more than one thing is incredible to me. I don't want to just see one side of a person. I don't want to see them being always amazing and always good. I don't want to see them always being just completely bad and there's nothing good about them, because I think that's so unrealistic of humanity. And then what makes them good or what makes them bad, and then how they fall in certain situations, how they got to be where they are. And that is one thing he does so well. You start this book out getting to know the characters, and some of them are real awful people, and you're like, God, they're horrible. And yet, in the next paragraph, he'll show you all the horrible things that are going on in that person's life, why they act like they're horrible people, and how vulnerable they are, and all these little details about how they may be acting poorly and stuff because of their situation, or how they can be bad and can be an awful person while also having a very tender side to them that you're like, oh, I see why it is the way it is. And that is something I think Frederick Bachman does incredibly well, which is why I always get into the characters of his books, and why I can already tell you I'm going to be devastated by this, because already the big semifinal hockey scene that he had was just so like highs and lows, so many moments of like amazing feelings, but then also bittersweet feelings from different characters that it actually got me cheered up. And he was able to celebrate the moment so well and express it so well in words that you almost feel like you're there, that you're present, that you're celebrating alongside these people. And I just think that that's brilliant. And so I'm very scared to find out what is going to happen and who's going to be involved and how it's going to come out. And it just makes you sad because I already feel strongly about some of these characters. I also need to let you know of another non-HRCYED book that I have started reading because it's a book club book that I need to read for my in-person book club. And that's Cast: The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson. I have been wanting to read this one for a very long time because I absolutely loved The Warmth of Other Suns, which is her first book, at least first book that I've read by Isabel Wilkerson. And I'm very excited about this one. I've only read 25 pages because I'm going to try and read 25 pages a day until I have to talk about it with my book club. So this is one that I will be slowly working through over the next couple of weeks and just taking my time and enjoying it. One thing that really helped me to love The Warmth of Other Suns, aside from the impeccable writing and the research that Isabel Wilkerson did, was the anecdotes and how she used so many different stories in a way that brought together the whole idea and the theme that she was trying to get across. And I really loved that. And there is definitely anecdotal moments in this, but they're not as much the focus as are her analogies and how she's using analogies to get her point across, like what the caste system within the US
looks like based on other things that are similar to that. I think I like the anecdotes and the storytelling that she did a little more in The Warmth of the Other Suns, but I'm only 25 pages in. So like, honestly, I can't say anything. I'll be very curious to see how the overall layout looks, because so far I'm not seeing the bigger picture, but I'm seeing where she's leading us to. So I need to read more. That's all I can say. And so far her writing is just so beautiful. It really, really is impeccable writing. I'm going to continue reading a little bit of this every single day until my book club meeting.
Just be able to dive right into this and knock this puppy out before too much longer. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it, of course, because it's Philadelphia, right? These are some good stuff. If you're looking for like highly recommended food, absolutely.
Halo Top Chocolate Chip Cookie Dough has cookie dough and chocolate chunks in every bite.
Based on that, and there was a lot of stuff out of my control. I have to wear my compression garments again now. My lymphedema is really flaring up.
We've gotten to the part where I wish I was an annotator and that I annotated, because there's been several parts here where I need to annotate it. I'm reminded how amazing of a writer Isabel Wilkerson is, and how important it is to read books like this and to hear perspectives outside of your own, and to understand what our country is based off of, and to know the history, and to not be afraid of the history, to understand it so we can learn from it and hopefully be better for it. Why am I reading two really depressing books at the same time? I'm not sure. But yeah, heart-wrenching story. And I knew that going into it, and I have to read it because it's Bookstara. And I have to read Cast because it's for my other book club. But geez Louise, two really difficult books at once. What was I thinking? Okay, so this vlog has been going on for a while now, of just little bits here and there that I've been able to film or check in. So I think it is time to end this one, and just know that my HRCYED journey is not over yet. I still have a couple books that I'm going to squeeze in to at least get one bingo before June 6th. So right now, where I'm at, though, is I'm currently reading Beartown. I'm about halfway through that one, and I have set up for what I need to read tomorrow. And then I'm also going to be making slow but daily progress on Cast by Isabel Wilkerson. So after I complete this one, I will be picking up, hold on, When I Was Death by Alexis Henderson, which is one of my new releases for HRCYED. So once I get this one done, I will be popping onto this one. So come back so you can hear my final review for Beartown and see what I have to think about this nice little short one. And this will be my third book by Alexis Henderson. So I'm hoping that I'll love this one. Let me know in the comment section down below if you're reading Beartown with us, and if not, have you read any of the books I've talked about in this video and what you thought about them. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. It lets me know if you like the videos that I put out there, and also subscribe so you can see more, see what happens in the end of my HRCYED journey for 2.0 for the second year. I am excited to start 3.0 because I have a plan for that one, but I'm not going to worry about that until July. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.